welcome to your show, Love Parenting and Mental Health Therapy with your counseling psychologist, Tosin Togun. Today, by the grace of God, we are looking at something exciting. Yes, something always exciting. Yes, today we are looking at how you can love beyond your past. Okay, and a number of us will be wondering, what does it mean to love beyond my past? The truth is, every one of us, we are coming from somewhere. We have a past. We've been through some things. Some things have happened in our background that has informed our attitude, our responses to life and its events. Okay, but how do we manage all these things? Fine, you can't take your past from you. Your past is your reality. It's part of you, and it doesn't have to define you, but you cannot deny it. It's something that is your experience. Yes. Okay, how do you manage this past in such a way that it doesn't impair your love life? It doesn't have to impact your love life negatively. How do you manage it in such a way that your partner do not have to pay for all the things that you've gone through in the past? How do you actually do all of these things and still put your relationship, your marital relationship, in right perspective? That's what we'll be doing on the show today. I'll be right back. Let's take a short break.
Are you searching for professional counseling services appealing and available to individuals, schools, families, communities, corporate and religious organizations at an affordable rate? Look no further. Sure Hope Counseling Clinic is a registered counseling firm and a recognized member of the Counseling Association of Nigeria. Sure Hope Counseling Clinic offers services in the following categories: toddler and preschool development counseling, preteens and teens counseling, premarital counseling, marital counseling, parenting, rehabilitation and remedial counseling, corporate counseling. Other services include book sales, library services and training. We also offer home services for children and the aged. Likewise, we treat addiction and offer therapy for mental well-being. Sure Up Counseling Clinic is located at 99 Idito Bus Stop, adjacent Oluyolu Shasha O, Puliyeleyele Road, Ibadan. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sure Up Counseling Clinic. For inquiry, visit our website www.shcounselingclinic.org.ng or call 0803 537 6009 or 0806 847 5755. Sure Hope Counseling Clinic, living people better than we met them.
Welcome back. So how do you love beyond your past? Yes, that's why I am here today. Once again, my name is Tosin Togun, your counseling psychologist. Let me start by saying that you cannot love beyond your past until three things are put into perspective. Number one, you have to know what love truly is. When you know the definition of love, that helps you, to actually put yourself together and love the way you should do. So beyond where you're coming from. So number one, let me start by saying that love is a force of attraction that stirs commitment in you, in order for you to be romantically committed to a person. It's a force of attraction. It stirs commitment in you to be able to be committed to a person, romantically and passionately. Okay, so you may want to ask, how do I mean? Now, from that particular definition, there are some things that are very pertinent. You see force of attraction, you see force of commitment, and you see force of romance. Okay, so I'm going to explain this one by one so that we can actually relate to the definition the way it should. All right, so force of attraction, number one, or how do I mean? Okay, love actually starts from that point of attraction, from that force of attraction. Force of attraction is that force that consistently pulls you to, towards that person, that actually it gets your attention to that person, then it keeps steering you to that person. It's that force that makes you to want to hear the voice of that person, to want to see the face of that person, to want to be around that person. That force that is always pulling you towards that person is what is called the force of attraction. That is where love usually starts from. And the point of attraction could be anything. It could be physical appearance, it could be the beauty, it could be the handsomeness, It could be the physique, the figure, it could be the stepping styles, it could be anything, the broad shoulder, the tiny waist, the straight legs, the the smiley pattern. It can be anything. Of course, it can be spiritual too. It can be that you like the fact that that person is a pressure. You might like that fact too. It might be how that person is committed to God. It can be anything. Of course, it can be the opportunities around that person, probably the family background or the kind of career that person has chosen. That might be your interest. It might be the intellectual capability of that person. Anything can be, the force of attraction. But sure, there must be that force of attraction. There must be that thing, that got your attention in the first place. Then next to that is force of commitment. Now, let me say this, that love itself is majorly commitment. Love is, there's a general characteristics of love that all of us can relate to. Love is patience, love is kind, is not boastful. All of these are term, can be summarized as commitments. Love is commitments, all right, and is not feelings, is not emotion, is majorly what? Commitment. And what's commitment? It is actually paying the price that is required, to make a process work. Now, for your love relationship, now, that means that we can say you are committed when you are paying, when you are endeavoring to pay the price that is required to make that relationship or marriage work. Okay, and of course, it's relative, commitment is relative. What commitment is to an individual might be different from what it is to another individual. For instance, what it will take to marry me now might be different from what you will actually pay to marry another person. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about the bride price. I'm actually talking about, things that you need to put in place, the responsibility you have to foster in actually securing the attention of your lover. Like I said, it's relative, but majorly you can't escape some. For instance, you can't escape giving. It's constant. It will take your time. You will give time. You will give materially. You will give your intellect. So giving is part of the commitment that you have to pay, in actually making a relationship work. That is, you cannot walk around or walk away from giving. You have to give time, money or gifts, and intellectual properties, of course, have to be invested in that relationship. And the last force is force of romance. Okay, a number of us as term romance to mean so many things. Some of us say romance is foreplay. Okay. All right, Tosin Togun, what's romance? Yes, romance is that is that force of attraction actually that actually help you to be passionately, affectionately involved in the life of your partner. Is actually affectionate involvement, passionate involvement in the life or in any matters that is pertinent to your partner. So you are actively involved in the life of that person. Everything that happens to that person, you are aware. Okay, and you are actually both of you are working towards you are working towards achieving goals. You are together, you have strong synergy, and that is what romance is. And that cannot happen without openness, without communication, heart-to-heart communication. So actually romance is not foreplay. It is, you being actively involved and actually playing out the love languages of your partner. Of course, for some persons whose their love languages are physical touch, touching might actually mean a lot to them, but that doesn't mean that is what romance is. Okay, so moving very fast. Now, having said all of that, now you know what love truly is. So next to that is you have to know, loving beyond your past. What does it entails? Number two, it entails that what has happened in your past, the trauma that has happened in your past, and you have to know the effects of that trauma on your present day relationship. For instance, were you raped before? Were you jilted? were you in any abusive relationship? Fine, you are out now. What are the impacts that that is having on your new relationship? That is how you can love beyond your past. There are some persons that make you pay for the hurts that their exes have caused on them. And at times it's not that they want to do that intentionally. It's just something that they cannot help but do, because they've not known or master how to actually love beyond that particular past. So you have to be aware, come to yourself and say, okay, this has happened to me before. The relationship I was before was abusive. Okay, I have abusive background. I have a poor background that have affected my self-esteem. You have to be able to trace. I live in a very toxic and negative childhood environment that have affected the way I communicate with people. You have to know, for some of us now who probably while growing up you were put with families, or you were put to actually be a help in a particular household, probably in that environment. Maybe they're not friendly, they use words on you negatively. You might also turn out to be a verbal abuser if all those things are not remediated, and they can actually affect your present day love. So it's important you know your childhood trauma. Ask yourself, oh, I'm beginning to have temper. Why do I have the way I do? Why do I speak the way I do? Why do I react the way I do? What are the negative exposure? What are the negative experiences? What are the traumatic experiences I've had while growing up? And how are they affecting me right now? Okay, when you are able to know that, then you are on your way to healing. All right, because self-denial is one of the things that keep you, to your past. It keep you to your past. So you have to be aware this is the situation, then that helps you to take responsibility. So loving beyond your past was the next. After you've done the first two, so number 3 is that you have to come to the point where you love yourself, beyond your past. You have to come to the point where you love yourself beyond your past. So what does it mean to love yourself beyond your past? Number 1, you have to know, that your past is not your definition. Everybody has a past. There is nobody without a past. That's the truth. What the past is, my is actually an experience is not, you might not actually say an experience is negative or positive until you react, is your reactions, as in the emotion that particular experience trigger out of you. That emotion, the emotion that particular experience trigger in you is what defines if that experience is negative or not. So you can choose your response, okay? You can choose to respond differently, though it might not be easy, okay? So number 1, loving yourself beyond your past. What do? Number 1, you have to come to the point where you forgive yourself. Loving yourself means you are ready to forgive yourself. Yes, a number of us live in self-pity. A number of us, we are bitter towards ourselves. How could I have allowed uncle to rape me for that number of years? How could I have allowed my father to keep assaulting me that way? How could I have stayed in such an abusive relationship? And we keep thinking that is our fault. Yes, then it wasn't our fault, we couldn't act better because we don't have enough information to act differently. So it's okay, it's fine. So you have to forgive yourself. Some of us accept the forgiveness of God, but forgiving ourselves is difficult for a number of people. So you have to come to the point where you let go, forgive yourself, leave self-pity, just forgive yourself. Love yourself enough to forgive yourself, because if you don't love yourself enough to forgive yourself, forgiving your spouse will be very, very difficult. Okay, you can't give what you don't have. What you have not invested in yourself, might be difficult for you to invest in other. Yes, number 2, you have to forgive the offender. Yes, that's difficult. But you have to, you have to forgive the offender. Now, when I say forgive the offender, I don't mean delete the events from your head. You might not be able to delete the events from your head. Why? Because you have cerebrum, your seat of judgment, your seat of intelligence. Nothing has happened to your brain. You are fine. So why won't you remember the events? You will surely remember the events. But the difference is that the events do no longer bring the hurt to you if you have learned to let go and forgive this person. Of course, and you may need to talk to God about that. You may need to pray and actually tell God, because the wound is not physical. So it's the hand of God that can actually reach that particular wound and heal it. So why not? Prayer is one of good therapy, that help people to actually recover from past experiences. So it works. So pray, talk to God about it. Tell God how difficult you are finding it to forgive your offender, but you want to, and he can help you. All right. And next to that is that you have to pick a message from that mess. There's a message in that mess. Yes, there's a message in that mess. So look for that message in that mess and learn the message, absorb the message, put the message in your heart, then put the message in your mouth for the coming generation. Help others not to fall victim of what you have experienced. And I tell you, this is best way to heal from negative experiences. And before you know it, you are loving hope, beyond your past. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, subscribe to this channel and of course share our video. I love you. Bye.